Hi, and welcome back to Musicians Edition Practice with me for Flute. I'm your teacher, Risa, and today we're working in the Rubank Advanced Method Flute Volume 1. And today we're on page 6. We're still looking at, this is the C major scale and arpeggio section. So yeah, let's just jump right in here to exercise 4. Okay, 2-4, no sharps, no flats, obviously, in the key of C. Okay, so let's do this slowly, focusing on where the notes are and where our articulations are. Okay, all right, here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, excellent job. So when we play this, we're supposed to breathe only when the breath marks are, and I know we didn't do this round, taking a little bit slower, just getting a feel for things, okay? And it can be a little difficult with the articulations because we want to do the ta 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 ta, and that's not what it is. It's just the first of the measure. Ta 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 ta, right? So we have to be careful of that. Okay, and then let's talk dynamics real quick because they're marked for getting louder and then softer. Now the good news here, well then it's marked simile, so it's supposed to be done that way throughout the whole piece. The good news is it's going to naturally kind of go in that direction because as we get higher we generally get louder, okay, and then when we go down generally gets a little bit softer. So that there should kind of come naturally, okay? Let's go ahead, let's put our metronomes on and let's speed this up. Let's try this at 66. 1, 2, 1, 2. Alrighty, so there we go. Where it throws some people off a lot in this exercise is where we have the 8th note, the rest, and then coming in on the 16th. Okay, so just playing a measure previously. Okay, so you might need to write your counts in there. Also make sure you don't take too long on that breath. Okay, I'm actually going to circle that in, and it's a little hard to get all that in when we're playing 66, but we do need to play this a little bit faster. All right, let's try it a little bit faster, okay? This one does take a little bit of practice, so I'm not going to make us do super fast, but I do want you to practice on your own time to continuously to speed this up. All right, let's go ahead and do 72. 1, 2, 1, 2. Alrighty, so there we go. So we'll just practice that at that speed right now. Like I said, play it, master it, speed it up even faster than that. And when you start playing it even faster, remember you could start adding in your double tonguing for these 16ths as well, as long as you're not like slurring them. All right, let's go ahead, take a look at exercise number 5, excuse me. Okay, first off, the book is saying various articulations may be used in the chromatic, the interval, and the arpeggio exercises at the operation of the instructor. I guess that's me. What should we do? All right, so first thing we're gonna do is play as written. So we're gonna just play the chromatic scale as is. All right, now take note too, where there's the A sharps, you'll see a little thing in parentheses with the 1. Look at the bottom of the book. It says use 1T E flat for A sharp or B flat in all the chromatic scales. So it's telling you which B to use for thumb. So it wants us to use this B key here for A sharp, B flat, not here. So we're going to use this one. No, we don't want any slidings for the chromatic scale. Okay, that's going to be too fast. So it's telling us to use that thumb key. All right, we're going to do this nice and slow because slow is mastery, and then work on tempo, right? All right, so here we go. There is a repeat. We are going to do the repeat. All right, ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, excellent job. So first off, I highly recommend memorizing the chromatic scale. At this point, we should memorize it. Okay, it actually makes it a lot easier too, because I didn't even look at the sheet music, to be honest here. That just looks super confusing. I know it's the chromatic scale, and I hate looking at it. I'd rather play from memory. So I recommend you do that too, because we should have all our scales memorized. Speaking of getting all our scales memorized, we do have a course on working together to memorize our scales. We're going to work through every single scale, the chromatic, all the majors, and all the minors. The regular minors. We're not doing like the harmonics and stuff. Not those ones. But we will work together and we will memorize all of these scales together. So if you're interested in doing that, you can check out our course up here. Okay, coming back to this now. Now, let's do this with the metronome to get it more precise, okay? And I'm not gonna go crazy with articulations, even though the book says, but on your own time, I do want you to switch up those articulations. So I want you to do them straight like that, and then I want you to do every 2, so it's like ta, 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 right? And then I want you to add more, where it's every 4, ta, ta, then it becomes every measure, ta, ta. So that's what I want you to do, but these are pretty simple articulations. Keep it like that throughout. So do those articulations on your own time. Okay, today we're gonna work on getting things a little more precise. Let's go ahead and start off on 72. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, excellent job. So I'm not gonna make us go crazy once again on tempo or the articulations. Please work on both of those on your own time, but this here should be enough to get you started. If you were confused looking at this and you don't really know your chromatic scale, start off by taking it note by note. And then you might have to think on some of them for the C's, or the sharps, excuse me. So we have C, and then C sharp. You gotta think what that is. Okay. D, then D sharp. Take it as slow as you need. If you need to like kind of figure out what those notes are. When you're doing that, I really would take it section by section. So get comfortable with measure 1, then get comfortable with measure 2, 3, and 4, then put it together.
This lesson is brought to you by the Musician's Edition practice book. Make goals and keep track of progress throughout the whole year. When you're done with this video lesson, don't forget to mark this practice time in your Musician's Edition practice book. Now back to the video.
Okay, so that should get you started. All right, let's take a look at exercise 6. Exercise in thirds, okay? So let's just play these. These are our arpeggios. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, excellent job. So doing things in thirds are very handy because a lot of patterns are in thirds. So when you get the pattern down, that means you can be working on things that are really fast, like the 16ths with this pattern should be a breeze later. All right, this same thing, they want you to also change up the articulations. So I'm not gonna drill that on us today, but on your own time, make sure you do the same thing. Do it all just straightforward, then ta, 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 and then ta, ta, and then do by measure, ta, ta, right? So change up your articulations on your own time. Let's clean up our rhythms and making sure we're staying on time, okay? Because that's where we're at in life. All right, let's do 72 again. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, excellent job. So I'm also not going to kill us on tempo today. This is to get you started. So make sure you work on this, master it, speed it up. The hardest part, in my opinion, is that low C going on to that E, natural, right? But here's a trick. A lot of times when our pinky is down, it has more to do with stabilization than necessarily notes. Now, this isn't for all notes. Obviously, like E flat needs the pinky, but like, look. That's a lot of movement and that's really difficult. So it's gonna be really hard when we get fast, right? But check this out. So for that particular E, I just lift up the pinky as a whole. That will make it easier and you'll be able to get faster that way. So practice with the pinky. To be honest, I like to practice with pinky on and pinky off. All right? Okay, let's move on to number 7, common chord. This is still a form of arpeggios. This is a great one because a lot of times the pattern continues up in this broken out chord. Okay? So let's go ahead and play without the metronome real quick just so we can figure out the patterns and just see where we're going. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent job. That should have felt, especially if you did the intermediate series with us, that should have felt familiar, right? We've done a lot of broken up chords, and that's exactly what this was. We kept it in C, but then, you know, of course it doesn't always start on C, so. But either way, it should have felt familiar. Okay, let's put our metronomes on to get a little more precise. Only still working at 72 today, but make it faster on your own time. All right, here we go. 1, oop, I hit the wrong button. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, excellent job. Make sure you practice that one faster. You probably could practice that faster today, but I want you to master the slower speeds, speed it up, okay? All right, let's take a look at exercise 8, okay? The dominant 7th chord. So this is still broken up chords, but it's just a little different. All right, we are in 6/8 time for this one, but now I'm gonna count us 1, 2, and then we're gonna play, okay? Because we're no longer these beginners or even intermediate players, and now as advanced players, we need to, you can still count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 if that helps you, but your conductor is going to do 2, so I'm going to count us in for 2. All right, here we go, ready? 1, 2. All right, excellent job. So you can see it still kind of has the certain interval patterns, but it was a little bit different. All right, not too bad. Okay, now let's put our metronomes on. Let's see, where were we? Okay, so let's do, all right, here we go. Okay. So when it comes to our metronomes too, because I've had some questions about this, the metronomes, they're all different, right? So some metronomes can do the 6/8, and with that may have it broken down to where it is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My metronome can't do that, and it can't, you know, it basically has 2, 4, 3, 4, and 4, 4. That's what my metronome has. So if your metronome's like this, just put it on the 2, okay? Because just think of it as your conductor going, okay? And they're counting in 2 as well, or directing in 2. So that's how you would do it, okay? So I think about what we were doing. I think it was pretty close to 60 for 2, 4, okay? All right, here we go, ready? 1, 2. All right, so we actually probably could play that a lot faster, but once again, I'm here to just get us started. So practice that one, also master it, and speed it up, okay? I have a feeling you could go faster than that. Okay, let's move on to exercise 9. Now we're working onto the A minor scale, okay? When it comes to the minor scales, you can see there's the natural, the harmonic, and the melodic. So in the courses I was talking about earlier, we only go over the natural, but here we're going over harmonic and melodic as well. All right, so let's talk about the scales a little bit more in theory. So we have the C major scale, right? That's what we played, the major scale. And then you have the relative pair. So what the relative pair is it's going to share the same key signature. So C major has no sharps, no flats. Its relative pair is going to be minor, which also shares no sharps, no flats. And that's going to be A minor. So C, A minor, okay? Now the difference between the natural, the harmonic, and the melodic is the patterns. So whether you're looking at a major scale, which has a certain pattern between whole steps and half steps. The minor scale also shares patterns of whole steps and half steps. They're not the same as the major though, because remember the major sounds happy, minor has to sound sadder, so it's kind of just shifted. With the harmonic, you can see we have sharps marked in here, which means we're going to change that pattern a little bit, right? So where we had the half steps, we have a step and a half in the harmonic. And then in the melodic, we have two sharps going up, but then everything's natural coming back down. All right, so things sound a little different. So why don't we go ahead and give this a play? And I know we've worked on these a little bit in the intermediate, but I don't think we talked in depth about what they were, nor I don't think we heard them side by side to hear the differences. So we'll for sure hear the differences here regardless. All right, so let's play. Ready? Nice and slow though. 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent job. So hopefully you should have been able to hear the difference between the natural, the harmonic, and the melodic. Okay? So in my opinion, the harmonic kind of stands out the most. But all right. And if you're looking at your book and you're wondering what is what, that arrow like this is just telling you where the half steps are. Okay? And that has more of like to do with ear training and knowing the patterns, right? So it's whole, half, whole, right? So knowing that kind of pattern helps some people, and then for some people it doesn't help at all. All right, let's go ahead and play again. We'll put our metronomes on just to be a little more consistent. Let's see, what were we? Let's play this at 84. I have that funny metronome that does funny numbers. Okay, anyway, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, excellent job. You could probably start speeding that up. That's still fairly slow. We want it to be a lot faster. Right, so make sure you speed this one up too. A little harder there when it's higher up, but you got this. Just keep practicing it, okay? All right, let's take a look at our last exercise of today, number 10. Okay, I believe this is one of the scales, right? Which scale is this? Go ahead and take a look at your natural, harmonic, and melodic that we just played. This is the melodic, okay? We got the two sharps going up, the naturals coming down, okay? So that actually makes it sound more like it's major and then minor coming down. All right. So let's go ahead and play this one, all right? Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. we go. Kind of helps we played it slower earlier. This is also why you want to speed it up. Let's go ahead and do it with our metronomes here. Try to get more precise is our goal. I'm going to take us back down to 72. Make sure you speed it up on your own time though. I want to see you do it a lot faster. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, excellent job. So make sure you master those at the slower speeds, then continue to speed them up. Okay, you should be able to do all of these a lot faster than what we did today. All right? All right, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know down in the comments. And while you're down there, don't forget to hit like, notify, subscribe so you don't miss any of our practices. Thanks for joining, and until next time.